Welcome to this brief lesson on how to overcome nervousness when you are giving a presentation. Presentation anxiety is a response to fear, and it manifests itself in a number of ways. Physically, for example, in blushing, shaking, stuttering, sweating, being tongue-tied. Mentally, in being muddled, feelings of not making sense, losing the thread. These feelings are so unpleasant that we actually want to avoid presentations altogether. There are a number of causes of this fear of speaking. The first is perfectionism. Sometimes we can pressure ourselves by having unreasonably high expectations of what we should achieve, particularly if this is the first time we have done a presentation. The next is avoidance. Avoidance makes things worse, because we never have the opportunity to test our assumptions. Going through the experience and seeing that we can survive intact will help us build up our confidence for next time. Another cause is past experience. Particularly if the experience was a negative one, can influence how we might think and feel about a similar experience, even though it is in a new context. Perhaps we were teased for blushing or stuttering at school, or remember times when our ideas were put down, or rejected by the family or in public. Being in a situation where others are watching, judging or criticizing, can trigger feelings of anxiety or rejection associated with those past experiences. As a result, we may be overly critical of our performance, focusing on everything that went wrong, until we feel we are no good at it. This sets up a vicious spiral. Next time our anxiety levels are even higher, and we are less likely to do well. And the final cause is likely to be lack of confidence. Lack of self-confidence can affect thinking, feelings, behavior and body language. Labeling oneself unconfident means failing to appreciate the things we do well. Confidence comes from doing things and having a go, learning from our mistakes. Let's look now at 6 possible solutions to overcome this anxiety. These include knowing your audience, knowing your material, knowing your surroundings, practice, 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 prepare, 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 and calming yourself from the inside. So, first, know your audience. To do this effectively, we suggest you define who your target audience is. Ask people who are representative of the audience what they expect from the presentation. Run your agenda by a few people to see if they think something is missing or is overkill. Consider contacting participants by email beforehand and asking them a few questions about what they expect. And greet audience members at the door and do a quick survey of why they are there and what they expect. Next, know your material. Know your presentation backwards on presentation day. Make sure you've understood your audience and their needs properly. Remember, you can't possibly cover everything you know in your presentation. Stick to a few pertinent points. Include occasional questions to the audience to encourage audience participation. It pays to be organized. A speaker who fumbles around with his materials gives an impression of poor organization and lack of interest. The audience suspects that such a speaker hasn't put much effort or thought into preparing for the presentation. Allow yourself enough time to organize all your materials before you begin your presentation. Being well organized can also improve your self-confidence. Remember that there is no reason for the people in the audience to feel anything but well disposed towards you. Even if they may not agree with what you have to say, as long as you do not say it confrontationally, they will accept your right to say it. The next tip is to be aware of your surroundings. The most important thing to remember in order to deliver the most confident presentation you can, is to have an awareness of your surroundings. If you move around, bear in mind the positioning of things in the room. If you walk into something, pass it off with a brief joke about people planting things to put you off your stride, and simply allow your speech to flow. And the 4th tip is to practice, practice, practice. Learn the organization and order of your presentation. If you do feel the need to memorize, limit it to your opening. This will help you get off to a smooth start. Try videotaping yourself. You will see what you look like to others, and then you can make a plan to change the things that need changing. Use audio tape to listen to how you speak, your tone and your speed, and adjust appropriately. And prepare for large speaking events by practicing with a smaller audience first. For example, by inviting colleagues to listen to a dry run during their lunch hour. Here are some additional tips on rehearsing your presentation. Sit down and read silently. You should typeset and format your presentation, as if you intended to read it to your audience. Sit down and read aloud. Once you have read through your presentation or PowerPoint deck several times, you are ready to read aloud. Reading aloud is a vital memory enforcer, helping us to visualize and memorize key points within the presentation. Stand up and read aloud. Once you have read through your presentation several times, it's good practice to do so standing up. When you stand up, you can apply emphasis to those passages of the speech that require special attention. Stand up, read aloud and move. With these key tasks completed, you can now practice your presentation aloud, moving around. You should walk around and move your arms, pointing for extra emphasis perhaps. Record your presentation. Your last rehearsal step is to prepare an audio recording of you speaking. Your target is to prepare a recording that you can listen to when traveling to and from work, or during a quiet moment at home, or the ball game. And tip 5 is to prepare. Decide what you are going to wear, make it comfortable and appropriate. Arrive early and get your equipment set up. Anticipate problems and have backups and contingencies in place, in case something doesn't work, you forget something, etc. If possible, give everything one last run through in the real environment. Prepare responses to anticipated questions. Try to think like that one person in the front row, who always tries to trip the presenter up. And the final tips is calm yourself from the inside. To do this, practice deep breathing. Drink water. Use visualization techniques. Just before you start talking, pause, make eye contact, and smile. Speak more slowly than you would in a conversation. Move around during your presentation. And stop thinking about yourself. One of the most famous strategies to deal with nervousness when addressing an audience is to picture them all in their underwear. However, this is more a joke than a serious strategy. Those who have seriously tried it have found that it distracted them more than anything. It is much better simply to look out into the audience, smile in a relaxed way, and introduce yourself. The chances are that many of your audience will smile back, and you can then address parts of your speech in their direction, in order to feel supported. When it comes to presenting, nerves are inevitable. Letting them get the better of you is not. You need to develop a strategy for taking the focus off your nervousness, and putting that energy to positive use. By controlling as much of the uncertainty as you can, you increase your confidence in your ability to deliver an excellent presentation. This confidence then counteracts your nerves, and you create a positive cycle for yourself. Nerves are not your enemy and you don't have to fear public speaking. For your next presentation, be knowledgeable, be well practiced and prepared, try out some physical relaxation techniques. Amaze yourself and impress your audience with your calm and cool delivery of a great presentation. There are a number of activities to complete for this unit. Take the time to complete these in your manual. In this way, you will better learn from and retain the knowledge covered in this unit. Thank you for watching this lesson. We hope you have found it useful. Would you like to learn more? Visit our websites to view our range of courses on the principles of management.